question. Are we doing it or are we doing it now? Are we doing it later?
We're doing it.
Excellent. Doing it reminds me of that time. It was a dark and stormy night, and a friend of mine and I were walking down the street because, well, shit, we were too poor to have a car. And so it was dark and it was storming and it was foggy because the marshlands and the bogs and everything, the fog always just like to roll in on them. And we're coming down the street. And my buddy says to me, man, this is just like that video game, you know, the one on PlayStation. And I went, oh, the one with the fog, right? And he said, yeah, the one with the fog. They made a movie about it, right? And I was like, yeah, they made a movie about it, right? And he's like, absolutely. What was the name of that game? And I went, Frogger.
I was hoping there was going to be more to that, but it just... I was waiting for there to be like a dramatic ending and be like mind blown.
You want the dramatic ending? Well,
just mind fuck.
Well, the dramatic ending was I said Frogger, and then he got hit by a car. But I thought that was a little too over the top.
Nah.
I mean, it was pretty horrific, dude. Like he exploded. Like it was rough, man.
Like Pop Goes the Weasel kind of shit? Or
yeah, what? Dude. Like I got a little bit of blood and brain matter splattered on my face. But the cool thing is that he was just made of popsicles and popsicle sticks and potatoes. So, you know, it wasn't really a big deal. I just took the pieces home and made some fucking fried potatoes. It was delicious. Showed him a little bit of salt, pepper. Winning.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What's in the News. Of course, we are your hosts today. My name is Poonsauce McNasty. That over there is Mr. Sean Typhon, the Angry Hippie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a couple interesting things to talk about. Really hasn't been like the biggest week when it comes to news stuff. We have a couple new little things. One thing was announced today that we're going to touch on a little bit that will bring on a little bit of good discussion because who knows, we might be seeing a new FDA commissioner within the next week because President Trump has a week to announce it. So, and there's one person that we're going to talk about who is like 95% going to be chosen and voted on.
So, I suppose you could call him the front runner, if you will.
Yeah. But
not that he's running for this post, but you know what I mean.
But before we do that, Sean, what the hell are you vaping on, man?
Oh, this?
I pulled like a thing for Vapor Swaggins kind of shit, where it's like, oh, I'm going to tell your buffet when you're in the middle of
right
vaping.
Here, this shit? This shit right here?
That shit right there, dude.
Right here, this shit?
That dude.
This is what I'm vaping on. This right here, hold on, we're gonna bring in that extra nice focus. Y'all recognize that? That's a unicorn vert. You can tell because it's got a little unicorn head on it. It also says Unicorn Vapes Inc. right across that little band on the bottom. Hell yeah. What you might not recognize is this guy up top looking extra crazy with his little black and stainless going on.
Look at that.
That right there is what some would refer to as an odium. Some might refer to it as a Unicorn RDA V2. I refer to it as a kick-ass fucking vape, especially with these Breeze Tone coils inside. Shout out to Breeze Tones.
Yeah, buddy.
These aliens, man. These aliens, though. Y'all need to go get you some Breeze Tones coils. That's all I'm saying.
Go over to local vape. He has them on there. Just buy all the Breeze Tone coils.
Right here, this is what's inside. I know this liquid oh so well, as many of you probably are aware. That's Syntax from Prohibition. Possibly the best flat-out peanut butter vape in the game. Yeah, I mean, if you want a peanut butter overload, that's a peanut butter overload all day in your face. It's awesome. Coming up next, boom! It's the Vapor SO Gen. This thing is going down as 2019's best regulated mod. Anybody who's had one or had the pleasure of using one probably agrees. On that, that's the Blotto, you know, in black, looking super tough, super sleek. Hell yeah. Great little atomizer. And inside of that, you guys remember this company, right? Naked 100. You know, never heard of them, right?
Proud VTA members.
Yeah, Brain Freeze is probably one of the best menthols in the game. Strawberry, kiwi, and pomegranate with some friggin' incredible balanced menthol. And lastly, it's the Blotto. So nice, I bought it twice. On top of the fucking Keen, man. This combo right here, though, this looks super, super tough. I really love it.
It's so nice, I think we're going to see it twice. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like, I love the way this all looks. And inside of that, ooh, Honey Mellow. I promise you, there is no melon in this, contrary to popular belief. Honey Mellow is a Golden Graham and Honey Nut Cheerio cereal bar. So you get all that awesome marshmallowy goodness along with the honey and graham, and yeah, it's insane. Looking around my desk, I think that's it for me. So I'm going to focus my camera and let you tell them what you got going on.
Okay, well, all three of my setups today are something that I haven't shown on a show before, so this is going to be interesting.
Oh.
So they're all new. First off, I decided to set this little bad boy up because who doesn't love a fucking just single coil flavor breaker squonker? I got the Luxottic Squonk with the Poet on top. Coil turd. I think these are fused Claptons. I think so. Something like there. They're ohming out like a 0.2 something, and they're great. And inside of there, I got some Silverback Lola. Some amazing stuff right there. An awesome strawberry banana. And now, my first new setup, I got all this stuff in the mail today when I got home. So, first of all, like how I said, you're going to see a Keen and a Blotto twice because I got my black copper Keen with the Blotto on top of there. Just looking awesome. Just fantastic.
Nice match game going on with that setup.
And inside of there, I got some Gold Leaf coconut sticky rice. Delicious stuff in there. And then finally, the coup de grace to this whole entire vape mail thing I got. You know how I like my stacks. And it just this one's going to be a new favorite in the collection because it just looks that good. Say hello to the white copper Dreamer stack with the Ardent DHD chop top on top of there, just like straight white in your face amazingness. Black button, of course, just I'm in love. I just love it. It's just amazing. It's just crazy looking.
Don't drop it in the snow.
Yeah, right. I'll lose it. And then inside of there, I got possibly one of my new favorite liquids because it's just that damn good. I got some Sad Boy blueberry jam cookie. Amazing stuff right there. And do I have anything else? Not that I'm really vaping on right now, so I'm not going to talk about it. So, yeah, that's all I got. So, why don't we get into it a little bit? So, before we get into our main topic a little bit, I know that you probably heard about it either on the Green Room or maybe they talked about it on the Stew a little bit. But as of last week, there was a court hearing for an injunction in the state of Massachusetts, and unfortunately it got denied. So, Sean, doesn't seem like you guys are catching a break.
Well, so here's the thing about all this, and this is where it gets interesting. The judge decided to uphold the order, but he also gave the governor, I think it was until this Friday, to make some changes to his ban, or else he was going to reallow the sale of the products. Basically, the judge had determined that this was an overstep of the bounds. He did skip a few things he was supposed to do in this situation, and as such, he needed to go ahead and make some changes in order to do this correctly. So the governor, rather than appease this judge and do right by the people, has decided to, take the very mature approach and decided to file an appeal. And they're also trying to get a piece in it where they're going to uphold the ban until the appeal hearing is heard. So, a lot going on there right now. Last check was yesterday, and the intent to file an appeal had been filed by the Attorney General's office. I don't know if the appeal has officially been filed today or not. That's stuff I haven't been able to get into. I'll be able to check into that later. But But this is the back and forth battle going on in Massachusetts. As a reminder, I mean, this is the only state that banned all vape products in general, with no time to liquidate products or to make any kind of concessions in relation to this. So it's pretty hectic. That being said, there's still hope. There is still hope, and that's the beautiful thing here, is that there is still an opportunity that the judge decides, nah, we're gonna say no to your holding onto the ban, and they're allowed to go back to selling their products until we've heard your appeal. We don't know yet, so there's still some unanswered questions to be hashed out, but this is the political process, man. It's back, it's forth, it's a push and pull, and right now we pushed, and they're trying to push back. So we're doing what we can.
Yeah, it's worth. I mean, you think about it a little bit, and it's like you can't give up hope on it, because the people are fighting for it. The right people are doing what they can to save the industry in Massachusetts. I know it's probably heavily damaged already, to the point where you'll be lucky if shops will be able to open again. It's tough, but there's always hope. You got to give up. You got to give hope, because look at these other states who file injunctions and actually went through. Oregon, frickin' Michigan. I know
Minnesota's
working on one. Washington, I heard, is working on one. It's just all the states that have gotten hit with these bans. It's tough. It's really tough to have a good morale through it, but got to keep fighting, guys. Just because things are good, things that are happening out there that are helping this industry a little bit in your state that have been heavily hit by it, doesn't mean that you have to let low of the gas pedal.
Absolutely. This is that 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward process that we're going to go through for a while. We say it all the time. It's always going to be one of those situations that gets worse before it gets better. Mm-hmm. And we're in that stage. It's getting worse. And so we got to stay vigilant. And that's what we're doing, man. Everybody's staying vigilant lately, and that's a beautiful thing. It's pretty powerful what everyone's been doing so far, and we got to just keep being vocal, keep fighting the fight, keep being on Twitter, keep making phone calls, keep writing letters. We got to do all these things and stay on it, because now more than ever it's important, and situations like what's going on in Massachusetts are a perfect example of why it's so important, because we need to hammer it home. The fact that the cannabis community, a bunch of potheads, had this figured out well before any of our politicians and stuff, speaks volumes. So, there are power in small, dedicated communities, and that's what we are. We are a small, dedicated community, and there's great power in that.
We're a small, dedicated community, and we are not bots. That's a damn fucking thing right there.
Yeah.
So, getting into the real topic tonight. So, the FDA is supposed to announce their next commissioner of the FDA by November 1st. So, we're getting close. We're getting close to there, and there's been news going around that President Trump has chosen his candidate. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, because there's I don't want to say there's glimmers of hope with this guy, but there's no evidence out there to not give me hope. I mean, because this guy, his name is Stephen Hahn. He is a cancer doctor. He's one of the leading specialists for, where is it? I just had it. Wow, I just completely lost my freaking spot. Where does it go? Hold, please. Son of a bitch. Where'd it go? Oh, he's the department chair and a professor for radiation and oncology at MD Anderson.
Yep.
It's so he's big into the medical field, big into the, like, he's a cancer doctor. He's been in a lot of studies with oncology, radiation, and different kind of some of the things he's been through in his, and is more of like a very deep in the medical field, which I think I haven't seen. I don't think they've picked the commissioner that was that definitely into the medical field as I've seen before. I know they have had people in like different like office roles, I guess you could say. I mean, they had, what's his name from that we talked about a few episodes back, that we thought was going to be the new FDA commissioner, because they said he was a front runner, but nothing ended up happening with him. And now we have this gentleman, which, from doing a little bit of my research, I saw that they were saying he had literally so little to none to no like funding and or support from big pharma, which is a very interesting thing I want to do a little bit more research on, because if we're just going with somebody who's just a doctor and is well known in the medical community, he might be able to kind of put in some logic to the whole situation. I don't know. It's still up in the air, and I'm curious of what other people's thoughts on this guy is. I know we're probably going to hear a lot more about him. I'm going to try to do more research on him to know as much as I can about him, because you want to know the person who's going to be pretty much the front runner for federal vape regulation. And if there's anybody who's going to do that, they're going to make sure it's going to be him. So we have to use our knowledge and use our words with Twitter and all that, because he is on Twitter. Yes, he is. But we need to be professional to him. We need to, we don't know if he knows all this information that we know that's going on. We don't know how involved he is in it. I mean, I've seen in the past where a lot of cancer doctors are for vaping, heart doctors on a cop. So that gives me hope a little bit, even though some of these big charities that are for cancer have kind of been playing on both sides of the coin. But I'm going to keep an open mind to this guy, because first of all, I don't know enough information on him yet to give me negative thoughts on him. But who knows? That's what I think. Who knows?
It's tough, right? Because I mean, my gut reaction when I see an individual like that is absolute distrust. This is a person who makes their money off the backs of treating symptoms and not treating actual illness. And so that's just my perspective and opinion on all people in the medical field. So I just want to be clear about that. So that's the first thing that my head goes to when I look at a person like that. Then I think about overall acting agendas from a federal level, and why this person would serve the agendas of the political parties. At the end of the day, right now it's a hard one to read. He's kind of candid from my little bits of research. He doesn't say a whole lot in the public. So it is difficult to get a feel for how he feels and where he stands on different subject matter.
Let's ask a really interesting question, which I think we can touch on a little bit.
Yeah, that being said, we don't have a recourse if we don't like it.
Yeah, because we're going to have to deal with him, because he's going to be in the position. I mean, anything could happen once this guy is... Okay, so Adam...
So yeah, that's literally a perfect segue. So Breeze Tones actually asked if you can explain how the process goes for becoming an FDA commissioner for those who are outside of the U.S. And basically, it's an appointed position. So in this situation, through whatever channels your president chooses to use, they make that decision. And so most likely you've got recommendations from your Health and Human Services commissioner and their staff You might even have people that you're familiar with because of some of your own things. You know, you think about Trump being a businessman. He might know some people in the biomed field that he thinks would be great. So he might consider them for the position.
And the person can also be recommended by colleagues.
Right.
And all that stuff who have clout in the field to where they have a good recommendation and then they can take that into account. And
right.
Once...
That being said, the U.S. public has very little recourse as to what they can do if they don't like an FDA commissioner. Basically, you can petition and lobby the U.S. government and hope that they see enough pissed off people to make a change. But that's their prerogative if they choose to do so or not. If they think that we're just a bunch of whiny kids who want their vaping products back, they may not be interested in even hearing our complaint.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The FDA commissioner's job sucks.
Yeah.
Because we look at it from a very focused perspective of this is tobacco harm reduction, public health. But at the same time, they're in charge of so much more. And there's people who don't like them on the other side from that too. People with drug companies, et cetera, et cetera. So their job sucks. That is a thankless goddamn position. However, if you look at it from a perspective of putting a check mark on your resume, it's worth taking. Mm-hmm. And who's not going to want this decorated doctor once he's done being the FDA commissioner? It's a hell of a friggin' check mark to have on your resume.
Yeah. So, Breeze Tones, once the president chooses him, they have to go through the Senate, and the Senate has to vote if he is appointed or not. So, we'll hear from President Trump within the next, I would say, week and a half. And then it would have to be a vote through the Senate. And then if the Senate votes on it and approves it, then he's appointed commissioner of the FDA.
Right.
So...
And,
and of course we know that the main thing they're going to throw on his desk is the first thing, obviously, is they're going to put the vaping epidemic on his desk. And so I would say we're going to find out something. We're going to at least find out his thoughts on this whole situation within 2 to 3 weeks of him being appointed. Because that's going to be one of their first roles that they want him to be taking place of. So I'm curious how that's going to go. Everything's still up in the air. No, you didn't hijack any kind of topic. It's part of trying to figure out the process of FDA commissioner, because we're trying to figure out the person, but we're also trying to figure out the process as well.
And so that's the thing is, at this point in time, if you are curious, I would Google some of his papers. I would Google some of his research. I can tell you right now, he requires approval for you to follow him on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So he may screen you. Be advised, he may screen you. He may choose not to accept you. And he has that right for now. Interestingly enough, once you become a public servant in the United States, you cannot make something like Twitter private or block people from it, because that is part of the constitutional free speech as per the First Amendment. And being that these are public forums, these elected officials cannot block you. Now, what happens when they've blocked you? Now, what happens? So that's the next question. What happens when they've blocked you? What recourse do you have? It's tough. There are people who have successfully fought Donald Trump, blocking them on Twitter, and had it over and had him unblock them because of that very reason.
I don't get what that gains, though. That's the thing. I don't get what you can benefit from having a president unblock you.
Well, the fact is that they have to hear you.
Yeah.
They don't have to respond, but they have to accept your criticism of them as a constituent in this country. And so, being that Twitter is a public forum, this is like them trying to put a box around you so that you don't exist while you're at a town meeting. And that's the way that it's looked at in the court when they've debated the situation. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's interesting, it's pretty despicable and heartless when in this day and age where we have to communicate with our legislators through Twitter, that they can decide they don't want to hear us and block us. And that's not right. Just because they disagree with us doesn't mean that we can't tell them how we feel and present them with our facts. Lord knows that we can't stop them from peddling it and shoving it down our throats.
And guys, if you're going to be an advocate on Twitter, don't go out of your way to try to get yourself blocked. Don't. It's not going to make yourself look good. It's not going to make the industry look good. You're going to make people who are trying to do the right thing by spreading information and trying to spread what is actually going on correctly and logically, and have as much education with you as you can and be as civil about it as you can. You're going to put that all to waste, because you're going to see these politicians are going to see that, like how the Surgeon General already thinks the vape industry is just a bunch of fucking bullies. And he's like technically trolling us in the end, which is kind of shitty to begin with, because you're the fucking Surgeon General and you're saying this shit. No, I don't agree that what he's saying, but we don't need to be the ones that are causing him to say it, is what I'm trying to go and say. But what do I know? So it's, yeah,
he's a whole other nightmare.
Yeah, we're not.
Our Surgeon General is an absolute fucking catastrophe.
You can kind of say scumbag. It kind of fits the.
No, I mean he's an absolute travesty. How this man can be the fucking Surgeon General of the United States. He's supposed to be one of the leading figures in public health. And this shitbag's got his fucking finances tied up in tobacco and in big pharma. Mm-hmm. Two of the fucking things that kill us. Oh, not to mention the fucking sugary fucking drinks, because he's got his investments there too. So this motherfucker is making money hand over fist, not only getting us sick, but then treating us as well. And this is some fucking bullshit. This is the man whose office knows full well that the bullshit that he's pushing is absolute nonsense. But instead, he chooses to look at fucking clickbait like a goddamn moron and just share fucking articles. We've literally caught him doing it. We've absolutely pointed out his hypocrisy, and he refuses to accept it. He's an absolute catastrophe of a human being and as a public figure and servant in the guise of public health. That man needs to be removed without a doubt, because he's nothing but an outright danger to the people, and furthermore, not just the people of the United States, but the people around the world, because his fucking bullshit is also getting eaten up in other fucking countries. It's absolutely ludicrous. We have a world where they're able to fucking ban vaping to the degree of imprisonment in other countries. You can't vape or you go to jail. And that's what they want here. They want you locked up in a cage because you're a filthy fucking nicotine addict, and that's all they see. They don't look at you as a human being anymore, and it's time that we change that. So how do we do it? How do we change that? It's what we've been talking about. It's about having that etiquette. It's about having that degree of decorum, because we can't all come off being crazed lunatics and screaming at the top of our lungs that they're liars. They know they're fucking liars. They don't care. That's their job. Just like a lawyer. Their job's to lie too, because it's a lot easier to lie to X, Y, and Z to get that money so that you can pay A, B, and C. And that's how this whole game works. It's bullshit this motherfucker to get some money from over here so that I can bullshit this idiot over here and get some money from over here, and I can put this money over here where I said it wasn't going to go, and I can put this money over here, and maybe later when everything comes down. No, this is some nonsense. It's literally the equivalent of somebody scratch tickets, getting deeper and deeper into debt, hoping they're going to hit that $1,000 payout so they can just pay off the scratch tickets they bought. It's literally how our country is operating financially. This is why we have over trillions of dollars in debt in the United States, and it will not come down. We are fucked. And all of this comes back down to money. It comes back down to a banking system that creates money on debt, which is a whole other topic for a whole different show that we don't even need to get into tonight. But the fact is, you want to know about that, go watch the Zeitgeist films. You'll learn all about how the banking system works. But in all seriousness, this all comes back down to money and mismanagement of funds. If the fucking MSA money had been used as the way it was supposed to be and not misappropriated and reinvested into bullshit bonds that were going to inflate and then burst like they did, then this wouldn't have happened. But instead, they pumped all of that MSA money into high-risk bonds. Those high-risk bonds are now flip-flopping, and they're going, oh shit, it's the housing bubble, but with our government. The government can't bail itself out the way it bailed out the banks when the housing bubble blew up. The government can't fix this. And so they need every fucking scapegoat they can find. And right now, we're one of them. We're not the only one. You go ahead and you watch and you look around. You know, Beto O'Rourke with, oh, we're going to come and take your guns. The guns are part of the problem too. Like, they will find every scapegoat they can find to explain where the money went and why we're so fucked. Well, we overspent fixing this problem. We overspent fixing that. No, you didn't. You squandered the goddamn money and blew it at the fucking races. That's what you did. You blew the whole fucking rent at the racetrack and came back with a goddamn silver dollar like, well, it's shiny. And you expect this fucking country to run correctly? Over half of the people in this country don't vote because they know the system is rigged and bullshit. Think about that. Over half the country knows it's fucking rigged and bullshit and don't give a fuck. They won't even vote. And we got to try to get them on our side and willing to vote. You know how crazy this shit is? That's the situation that we look at, and then we try to break down into smaller little pieces. Well, we'll attack this little situation. We'll attack that little situation. At the end of the day, we ain't going to fix nothing if we don't get big business money out of politics, if we don't fix the fucking redistricting issues, if we don't fix the goddamn way that lobbyists work. This is all going to continue to happen because when we move on and vaping is wherever it is, we're all going to fall into some other little subcategory that we get into. And when that shit gets demonized, we'll go through all of this again. And the way that I sit here on these shows and talk about, well, shit, man, I've been fighting cannabis prohibition since I was 18 and I'm 32 and we've only gotten this far in this time. We're going to sound like that talking about vaping. Like, shit, man, you model glue. You kidding me? Man, you should have seen when they tried to ban vaping. This is where we're headed, guys. It's why we make shows like this. It's why Poonsauce sits back and lets my crazy ass get lit and go nuts for a minute. Because that's literally where we're going. We have seen it. We have watched it happen in history. You can go back through your history books, watch European history, see what America's doing now. We are sliding into this pattern just the way that all of these other countries have done. This is something that is bigger than all of us. It is bigger than vaping, and we are attacking it by our one topic of vaping. We can do it because our topic of vaping is a small topic. But I'm going to tell you, it is systematic of a bigger, endemic of a bigger issue. And once we can figure out how to fix that bigger issue, then we can really make some change. You ask me, I'm going to tell you, what do you do when the whole refrigerator goes bad? When everything inside your fridge goes bad, what do? You throw everything away, you clean the refrigerator, and you start over. That's what I think we should do with our entire system. We should throw everything away, clean it all back up, and start all over fresh. Can we do it? It's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy thing. I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetimes.
No, I don't think we will, to be honest.
But we can do it with vaping. We can do it if we want to, if we believe we can. If we genuinely believe we can, We can do it. Look back at all of the change a motivated group of people have made in this country. All of the amazing shit through history that has happened because a motivated small group of individuals stood up and said, fuck this, I'm pissed off, and we ain't gonna take it no more. That's us now. It's our turn. We could do this. We can definitely do this. But it's gonna take everybody's hands. It's gonna take everybody's voices, and we gotta motivate the people who aren't motivated to do it. Because right now, it's a war on. And we're part of the fight. And we got to do what we got to do. We can't change who's going to turn into the FDA commissioner, but we can sure as hell change the denial of science. And that's where we're at.
How do you expect me to fucking come up after that? Like, it's like I should just turn the camera off and be like, okay, bye. It's like, how do you follow up that? I'm just going to go back a little bit and kind of think about something that I was thinking about while you were doing your Angry Hippie rant, which was awesome.
Please do.
We were talking about the Surgeon General and all that stuff, and it made me, I'm a big Marvel fan, and so it made me think of kind of a situation that actually, it's like, I consider him like the modern day Kingpin. You think about it. You have your hands in something that people think is helping people, but then you also have your hands in the thing that is causing them to need that help. Kind of take example, like, say this is all hypothetical. Somebody is highly involved in the medical field, like is funding hospitals and all that stuff, but then you're highly involved in black market guns, where you're either selling ammunition, you're selling the weapons, and just you're creating profit for yourself by hurting people. You're using the people as your, I wouldn't say you're kind of, I don't know if this is a good like analogy, but I don't want to say you're kind of using people as like a cryptocurrency kind of thing, because you think about as each, okay, if this is all hypothetical, so let's just say you're in a bad area and you purchase a gun and you're using it for like gang violence, all of you shoot some, either you get shot or you shoot somebody. That person to them is a giant dollar sign, because then they have to go to the hospital and get treated. And what do they need to do that? They need money. So, and what do these people need? And what did these people do to get these guns and these ammunition in the first place? They spent money to buy this stuff. So either way, they're getting the money this way or they're getting the money this way. So to these people that are doing this kind of stuff, who dabble in both sides of the coin, every person they look at, every person they go out in public, they see people and all they see is dollar signs. It's a scary fucking thought.
It's absolutely true. I mean, a great example in history of that, and you guys can go look this up. It's called Operation Fast and Furious, or also known as the Iran-Contra deal. And basically what was happening was the U.S. government was sending weapons to this guerrilla gang, the Contras, and giving them immunity as they funneled heroin in the United States. So basically it was, you're going to go and you're going to overthrow these people, and we're going to supply the weapons, and we'll turn a blind eye to your movement of drugs. So this is literally how it works. I've often heard the analogy that when it all comes down to it, human beings are literally just being farmed. That what we're here to do is to create for the machine. And it's an interesting analogy, right? And metaphor, that all we are is to create for the machine. That is our sole purpose in this world. And that's the way that these ruling class individuals look at you. Your whole purpose is to create for the machine. And so as long as whatever you do continues to help the machine roll forward, you are a useful creature within our world. And as soon as they determine you're not of any use to us anymore, You can be disposed of.
Be disposed of and be replaced.
Yeah, and it's an interesting concept because it does feel like that sometimes, that we're looked at as just a money machine, that your whole purpose is to be born, grow up, so that you can go to work and be taxed and pay in all this money into the system so that they can continue to do things to screw you over so that you can have more kids that are born, grow up, and then go to work, be taxed, and continue to feed the system. Now, it's a cynical way to look at things, and it's not for everybody. And myself, I love to just explore that without maybe holding its mindset for long. But it's not wrong when you think about it. There's an element of honesty to that construct, and that's what we're fighting. Because when we look at the pharmaceutical system taking from people and then preventing something that could help people improve their health and extend their life and improve their well-being, we immediately recognize the hypocrisy, and we feel like we're just being used as a cog in the wheel. And we gotta be that cog that breaks. We have to be the one that brings it to a grinding halt and says, no. Reset the course. We need to go this way. We are down the wrong path. At some point, the dollar is no longer more valuable than the life. We see that, we accept that, and we're here to spread that message.
Fuck, man. It's like the more you talk about some of this stuff, the more like you kind of have that mentality of, oh fuck, we're screwed. And it's hard not to have that mentality nowadays, is looking at the realization of everything that's going on. But
well, I mean, you can react to it two different ways. You can react to it in the sense that, you know, I have to accept it and I can just go with it and live my life and be happy. Or you can choose to be happy fighting every day of your life to change it. And, you know, some of us have just chose the latter. We would rather fight every day and be happy knowing that we fought every day to change it than to just accept it for what it is, you know? And I hope that can motivate people in every aspect of their life, that you don't have to accept it as is, that you can fight for what's better. You know, it doesn't just have to apply to vaping. If you know there's something better for you and it's worth fighting for, fight for it. Whether it's that new job, that trip that you've, you know, always wanted to do, that big move that you've always thought that if I just went here, I could make my break. If it's worth fighting for it, do it. It's always worth fighting.
This is what we're trying to, the kind of message we're trying to promote here. We're trying to, our cause may not be what the major populace is for, but our intentions are good, because we're preaching the message of, you got to fight for what you believe in. If you think something is unjust, if you think something is wrong, as a free citizen, it is your right to fight for it. As a living human being, as somebody who has a brain, you have the right to fight for something that you believe in. It's that simple. That's how most societies are in this world, to where if you don't like something, and if a big populace of people don't like what's going on, you have the right to say, I don't like what's happening here. I want to see change, otherwise something's going to happen. Not like causing threats or anything, but we're going to make sure either you're not in office anymore to where we can see the change we want, or we're going to, I don't know. You got to look at this through the bigger picture, guys. I really do. I try to look at this through, not as I'm trying to save vaping. I mean, it is a big thing that I'm trying to save. Me be just one person and being the voice that I have, trying to do what I can to say that I'm trying to save vaping, as one little nick on the wall of hundreds of millions of fucking vapors out there. I can use what I have, but I'm trying to spread the message of you got to fight with what you believe in. I was raised my entire life by my parents to say if you disagree with something, and if you think something is wrong, you should go use whatever is in your power to make sure you try to create something that you believe in to be correct. And this is a message that we're hoping to spread with people with that is not in the vaping industry. And hopefully these people can see it within themselves that the message we're trying to spread is just and it is right, because it can empower people in their life, and it could motivate people in their life to fight for something that has nothing to do with vaping. It can have to do with something else that is impacting them, whether it's college tuition or like books for school. How how fucking expensive this shit is. Kids have to freaking rent their books for school. It's terrible because how much they charge you, and it's just going out to, if you believe that something is wrong, tell them why you think it's wrong and say, I'm not going to stand for it. It's your right as a human being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I think that's a great place for us to close it. I think we're I think we're in a good place on that one.
Yeah, guys. I know we haven't... I don't want to say it's been quiet when it comes to news and stuff, but there hasn't been much craziness to talk about. Which is kind of a good... it's kind of a nice little break.
Man, I can't wait for the day that, what's in the news is, hey, man, so-and-so created this new atomizer.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to be our subject matter. But until
when
then,
what's in the news becomes what's in the news in the vaping industry.
Yeah,
that's when you know the hard work that has paid off. Well, the hard work that has happened through hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people fighting for this industry. That's when you know it's paid off.
Yep.
So once you start seeing that, you'll be like, wow, us as a community, we're doing something here. And we are doing something, guys. If you guys haven't seen it already, we're seeing changes. We're seeing positive impacts. Time to continue on doing it. Keep on pushing that. Keep on freaking breaking the boundaries. We will break down walls. We will. The government's going to try to build hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them in front of us. And we're just going to sit there with our sledgehammers. Whenever they put it up, we're going to break it down. We're Reagan and they're Gorbachev. We're going to break down your wall. Reagan smash. We're not going to be Reagan sleepy, but that was a terrible analogy, and I think it's time for me to end this.
Oh, Poonie sleepy.
Reagan smash. I fucking love that skit.
Oh, man. Guys, I'm proud of everybody for fighting. I'm proud of all of you guys for hanging with us tonight. I want to thank all of you for coming out and showing your love and support. Keep doing what you do. Keep fighting. Keep giving them hell. You know what I'm going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, listen. One more time. Remember, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Keep giving those bastards hell. Don't let those bastards get you down. Remember to be cool. Don't be a dick. And, of course, let's keep fighting to keep it cloudy.
And I think before we head out of here today, I think since I'm on Monday, I kind of gave a little hint on who I'm going to have on Saturday. So I think I'm just going to come out and say it. So Saturday, guys, I'm going to have a very special guest. If you know him from up the Great White North, he makes coils. He has his own website. He's well known for the community up there. I'm going to be joined by Mr. Saddle Horse Blues this Saturday, so stay tuned for that. And of course, Green Room on Friday. You can see Mr. Sean Typhon, the Angry Hippie, over there again. He might get a little angry, or he might be just having a little fun with James and Uncle Chris. You never know. Things can get angry, but things can be chill and fun.
You guys know how the Green Room goes. Yeah. It's always a good time, and we're always happy to have you. So if you haven't checked out the Green Room, come check us out over on the Frames Janklin Vapor channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and, a couple of different hours in between.
I don't know why the time of 420 just kind of suddenly pops in my head for that. I don't know. But also, remember, guys, tomorrow, That's What She Said. They're having their Halloween edition.
Ooh.
Halloween edition, That's What She Said, is going to be hilarious, I feel like. Because they have some fun stuff planned. They're probably going to dress up in costumes. It's going to be pretty funny.
That excites me because we know that Angela and Jess are big into Halloween every day. So I can't wait to see how that turns out.
That's going to be great. I'm kind of hoping that Angela comes in with the Just Nicotine mask coming on to start off.
Just Nicotine!
And then, takes off the mask and something crazy and elaborate is done. But, so, guys, go head over to the Reviewer channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That's What She Said. It's a great show by a bunch of amazing women that have made their way through this industry and have made their mark on this industry. So stay tuned for that. Cool. Exactly.
Do it and you're cool. Do it and you're cool.
Then, of course, we got Vape Stew on Friday as well. And then you can catch me on the Ohmies next Monday.
Oh, I love the Ohmies.
Fun. I think next Monday is our Halloween edition as well. So who knows what the hell we're going to talk about then. We haven't decided yet. So
Ohming with the Vapies is always going to be fun.
Yeah.
So.
And then, of course, next week, you can catch me and Sean here back at it again for another episode of What's in the News. So, guys, thank you all for joining us. And yeah, guys, let's keep vaping. Can't find the screen.
Kick cancer in the balls, kids.